recognized symbol of excellence for your entertainment.
Wow, it's not often I get my name mentioned in the same breath as Norman Rockwell. Norman Bates.
I created Alice Cooper to be my favorite rock star.
I can't believe that I get to dress up like David Letterman and interview Alice Cooper.
You know,
for Halloween. That's a great job.
I'm the only person that doesn't have to dress up like somebody else.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Welcome to Machino Music, the show that puts some music in Machino music, with your host, me, Brett Strong. Today on Machino Music, Hey Stoopid, it's Alice Cooper, 1991 to 2023. Okay, here we go. Alice Cooper, 1991 to 2023. Did the 80s album ranking, did a 70s album ranking. This isn't an album ranking, this is kind of like what we did with Kiss, where you sort of the rest of their catalog, they have this immense catalog, keep putting stuff out. And Alice, I mean, just keep putting out new albums. Still going strong. But it's kind of like with Kiss, where we're just like, for the rest of the catalog, this is not a ranking, we're just sort of like just talking about these albums that sort of finish the chapter, if you'd say, even though Alice Cooper is showing no signs of stopping. So, yeah, that's what we're doing here. Going from 1991 to 2023. I got a new table. This is great. No more breaking my back trying to pull in this big, heavy wood son of a bitch. Almost falling down, scraping the hell out of my arm. Like, nah, not good. Not good. I almost killed myself on that old table. And the other one was a creaky son of a bitch. So, yeah, this one is going to work out fine. I'm very happy. Okay, let's get into this here. 1991, Alice Cooper puts out Hey Stoopid. This was still during the glam metal, hair metal period that he started doing with the album Trash. Well, even going back even further than that with Constrictor, his big comeback album. But this just sounds very much in the same style of sort of glam metal, if you want to call it that, as Trash. Very similar sounding, very similar production. This is a great record. This got some really, really cool songs on. Here's Alice on the back there. He looks really cool. Not doing the makeup quite as much, although it's still very much a part of his style, because there's the skeleton face wearing it. Strange album cover. Just a bunch of like, I mean, looks very 80s, very 90s. The colors and everything. But this was a big deal. This was Alice still, you know, putting out some good tunes, because that was the thing with Alice Cooper. Always fantastic songwriting. The title track. Got a lot of guest stars on this. Ozzy Osbourne is one of the guest stars on Hey Stoopid. You hear him a bit in the background there. Really cool. Also has Nikki Sixx playing bass on a couple tracks. Got Steve Vai and Joe Satriani doing the guitar solos on Feed My Frankenstein. Also Cassandra Peterson, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, does a little bit there. She does the "He's such a psycho" line.
He's such a psycho.
So cool. And yeah, Feed My Frankenstein was a big deal, featured in Wayne's World. Alice Cooper did that very memorable cameo in that movie, one of the funniest scenes ever in the history of music, movies, or whatever you want. It's so great. Great cinematic classic.
Well, I'm a regular visitor here, but Milwaukee has certainly had its share of visitors. The French missionaries and explorers were coming here as early as the late 1600s to trade with the Native Americans.
In fact, isn't Milwaukee an Indian name?
Yes, Pete, it is.
And actually, Feed My Frankenstein was actually a cover tune. Well, sort of a collaborative cover tune, I guess. It was with originally done by a guy named Zodiac Mindwarp, who never got huge. And Alice sort of like, because they could have collaborated on this tune. I'm not sure the whole story, but yeah, the Zodiac Mindwarp did Feed My Frankenstein, and Alice turned into this huge monster of a tune. Literally, monster of a tune. Frankenstein's monster. And, you know, we added a few lines, changed a few things, and made it like the arrangement. That was a big spit I just did right there. And yeah, it became an Alice Cooper tune, but it's originally by a dude named Zodiac Mindwarp. Pretty cool. Kind of like an Alice Cooper kind of vein. Snakebite is great. Love that tune. Always really like Snakebite. Might as well be on Mars. Really interesting tune. Really, really theatrical. Big theatrical production still going on here with this. Little by Little, I think, is one of my favorite Alice Cooper songs. So awesome. I love those, like, those big vocals. So great. So big vocals on the chorus. Die For You's great. Really good ballad. Wind Up Toy, another just awesome, theatrical, amazing tune. Totally dig Wind Up Toy. Closing out the record. Yeah, this is a good one. I really like Hey Stoopid. Then he went completely like concept album with The Last Temptation. Some good tunes on here. Lost in America. He still plays live to this day. Really funny tune. It actually holds up very well. It's kind of like just being like lost in America. Like just youth doesn't know what the hell to do. People, I don't have a job. I don't got a gun. I never went to school. I'm just a big, dumb, American, stupid idiot. But yeah, that's what this song's saying. It's, yeah, and that's where we're heading right back to Lost in America. So, yeah. Holds up, really good tune. Bad Place Alone, I dig. You're My Temptation. I'm not a huge fan of this album. It's kind of hard to take individual songs out of it because it is very much a concept record. Sideshow's a great opener. But I find this one, it's like you got to be kind of in the mood, at least for me, to really listen to this one. Because it's like a whole story to it. It's like a comic book, actually. Hold on, let me just... the liner notes out here. It actually was like a whole comic book. Yeah, see, there's like a little excerpt from one of the panels of the comic there in the liner note. Really cool. Alice always doing this stuff. If there was theater to be made, Alice Cooper was gonna make his music more theatrical than he ever possibly could. Alright, next we have Brutal Planet, which is a brutal album. And brutal in the best possible way. This is super heavy. Like, this is Alice kind of getting on the industrial metal thing. But just doing it better than anyone else. He's just... because he always adapted. Alice always got on what was going. He was always... because he was a pioneer of heavy metal. And then... transitioned later into like new wave he got into, and then he started doing the glam metal, hair metal thing, and now here he is doing more a just heavy industrial metal kind of thing. And this is an angry album. This was done right after Columbine. There's a couple songs on here after the Columbine shootings. I was in school at the time, in high school at the time when that happened. I was like, whoa, it was insane. So, I mean, the less said about that, the better, because that was a dark time. But Alice wrote some great tunes about it, and there's Wicked Young Man and also Blow Me a Kiss were the two songs about influenced by Columbine, and then just like... and there's this great interview. It's lost media at this point. I used to have it on tape. The tape broke. It's gone. It's gone for good. I can't find it anywhere else on YouTube or any other streaming service. I don't know where the hell it went, but there's a show, it used to be an afternoon talk show here we had in Canada, hosted by this woman named Bynon. I forget her first name. It's like, I don't know, Florence or something, Louise, I don't know. She had this afternoon talk show, and Alice Cooper was the guest, and he was promoting this record, and it was such a fantastic interview. Awesome interview. He went into everything and talked about his feelings on Columbine, and talked about, like, don't blame the music, don't blame the artist for this, blame the person. That's kind of what these songs, Wicked Young Man, like, people are kind of born wicked, you know, they're kind of born kind of a little screwed up, and then, you know, the information comes in just like anything, and it just awakens, you know, the sleeping giant. So that's kind of what it was going into. And yeah, whoa, what a great, and the Brutal Planet song still holds up. The title track still holds up because really, we're still kind of living on a brutal planet. It's gotten worse.
It's such a brutal planet. It's such an ugly world.
We never learn. Pessimistic is another just dark tune. I mean, like you think Vincent Furnier is more optimist, and that's another thing he said in this interview. Like he'd have conversations with Alice Cooper. Or Vincent Furnier is kind of like, oh, hey, how about this? Let's write this thing. And then Alice is like, no. What about this? What if this war going on right here? What about this? Well, yeah, you don't even know what's going on. I've seen it all. I've seen the dark stuff. So yeah, oh man, it's like the angel on the shoulder, the devil on the other shoulder. It's that classic scenario with this record, and especially this time period during Alice Cooper. Like this is like, he's angry, he's mad about something, and he's gonna tell you. It's the little things of the funny tune. Got some funny lyrics on that one, but it's again kind of playing off the theme of this record. Take It Like a Woman, beautiful, one of the best ballads Alice has ever done. So good, really holds up. That's an anthem right there. Women's empowering anthem right there. Pick Up the Bones, great. That's a heavy record. Next, the follow-up to Brutal Planet, Dragontown. I saw him on this tour. Here he is holding a katana blade. Got a sai or something in the front there. This is not as heavy an album, but it's still pretty heavy, still pretty dark. Not as heavy an album as Brutal Planet. Kind of got different styles kind of on here. Trigger Man kicking it off, really great tune. Dig that tune. The title track is really cool. Sex, Death, and Money, which is always kind of the Alice Cooper band mantra back in the 70s. Sex, Death, and Money. Which is always kind of their little catchphrase, a little joke, just to make people like be more scared of them. He finally did a song about it. Fantasy Man's a really funny tune. All about this guy just like, you know, here's the guy who comes and like pulls your weeds. It's like basically like about MILFs. You know, like these women who have these like young hot guys come in and like doing yard work for them, and then you know like they might hook up with them. But this guy is, you know, might be crazy, so you might not want to mess around with this fantasy man. Here I am, your fantasy man. I'm a bit of a loser. Really funny. Somewhere in the Jungle. Disgraceland, which is all about Elvis. It's like a rockabilly, like heavy metal rockabilly kind of feel to this tune, but it's just really making a mockery of Elvis, because Alice knew Elvis in the later years when Elvis was just like a mess. So it's kind of making fun of that. Every Woman Has a Name, another empowering, awesome ballad. One of the best ballads Alice Cooper did. He had so many great songs that kind of like people don't even think about that came out there, like these empowering anthems, these beautiful ballad. What an amazing songwriter. It's Much Too Late is a really cool tune. I think that was written about John Lennon. I believe. I think I read that somewhere where like it was like sort of like this guy who's like very kind of unrepentant. He makes it to heaven, and now he's got to answer for all of his sins. All right, next we have The Eyes of Alice Cooper. This is very much kind of influenced by what was going on at the time with bands like The Strokes and The Hives, this new sort of garage music that was happening. Alice said, okay, this is a new trend, I gotta try. And he was also a very early pioneer of that kind of thing, so he's going back to his Detroit roots a bit on this one. What Do You Want From Me? Great tune, dig it. Novocaine, that was like all over the radio at the time. One of the last Alice Cooper songs I can actually remember hearing like on commercial radio. That one actually did pretty well. It's kind of the single, the hit off of this record. Really fun tune. Be With You a While, another absolutely beautiful ballad. This House is Haunted is classic. One of the great Alice Cooper deep cuts. Like that, come on. You should perform that every Halloween. Such a great tune. The Song That Didn't Rhyme is great. Backyard Brawl, kind of a little late to the backyard wrestling fad that was going on. That's what that song's about. Man of the Year is actually a really dark song. It's about like this guy, he's got like the perfect family, you know, this guy, he's got everything, got a good job, he's got his whole life together, but really, like, by the end of the song, that dude like puts a gun in his mouth. And actually has a sound effect, and it's like really dark. Oh man, what a disturbing song. But it's upbeat. Whoa. So one of those dudes like Alice, man, doing some great stuff that nobody even really talks about now. That these periods, like he's just like doing some of the best records of his. Like, and there's his band at the time. Got Eric Singer, of course, played with Kiss. Ryan Roxy. Saw that. That's the lineup I saw live on the Dragontown tour, I believe. Next we got Dirty Diamonds. This one I'm not a huge fan of. There's some good tunes on it. Woman of Mass Destruction. Perfect is kind of making fun of like the American Idol kind of thing. Like these people who can sing but are, you know, really just don't really have much talent other than, you know, looking good, looking a certain way. The Saga of Jesse Jane is cool. That's a cover of the Left Bank, Pretty Ballerina. Pretty cool cover. Run Down the Devil, I think, is my favorite song on this album. And Zombie Dance, I think is cool. But yeah, Run Down the Devil, I think, is like my favorite. But I don't really go back to this one. I think this one's just a little bit uneven. It's kind of like, you know, they can't all be bangers. Can't all slap, like the kids like to say. But yeah, not bad. Don't go back to this one a ton. I saw him do the title track live. It's a good title track. I do like Dirty Diamonds. Next, Along Came a Spider from 2008. This is a big deal. I remember when this came out, I was so excited. The Motley Crue, Saints of Los Angeles came out at the same time. And then this came out the same year, same summer. I was working at a summer camp as a camp counselor. It was a Bible camp. I think I've talked a little bit about that. But yeah, I was the weird heavy metal dude. But yeah, dig it. Alice Cooper's religious, so it's not a big thing. I mean, he doesn't go around like proclaiming at a big crucifix on his forehead, walking around giving people advice. He's not doing that. He's not throwing out Bibles. He's not Striper. He's not doing that. He's not doing that crap. But you know, he's very open about his Christianity and his beliefs. But he doesn't hammer you over the head with it. He's like, hey, Alice Cooper is a character that I portray, and I'm not going to beat you over the head with this stuff. But he's going to sprinkle it throughout his music, but not in a way that's going to turn anybody off. He still wants everybody to be entertained, whatever your beliefs are. And this, Vengeance is Mine, has to be probably one of the best songs Alice Cooper's, like one of the best songs of his career. I absolutely love that tune. It is so heavy, so awesome, amazing chorus. Got Slash playing guitar on, does a guitar solo, so good. Dig Vengeance is Mine, so awesome. The One That Got Away is cool. In Touch with Your Feminine Side's a cool tune. Catch Me If You Can. Wake the Dead. Yeah. Another concept album all about like a serial killer called The Spider, who uses this thing. This blade is what he kills with. Also Steven, call back to Welcome to My Nightmare. Yeah, cool. Really like that one. Speaking of Welcome to My Nightmare, did Welcome to My Nightmare, Welcome to My Nightmare 2, but it's 2 like the number 2. I gotta go to the bathroom, not doing number 1. Actually, that's not a comment on this album. I actually really do dig this album. I Am Made of You, great tune. Caffeine is really cool. The Nightmare Returns is fun. A Runaway Train actually has Vince Gill playing guitar on it. Country guy Vince Gill, he's on that. And he rocks. I don't really like country music, but these guys, they can play. It's like Brad Paisley. People think, Brad Paisley, the hell with him and his stupid cowboy hat and his Paisley guitar, the hell with this guy. The guy can rip on the guitar. So, yeah. But yeah, Vince Gill playing the guitar solo on A Runaway Train. Last Man on Earth, good. I'll Bite Your Face Off, that was kind of the hit. I saw him do that live. I saw him on this tour. Disco Bloodbath Boogie Fever, really fun song, really funny. Ghouls Gone Wild, fun. What Baby Wants actually has Kesha on. Remember Kesha? She kind of disappeared, I think she got abused by a horrible manager, unfortunately. I feel for Kesha, because she was kind of put out as a thing that was not, really her. But this episode with Alice is really fun. I dig it. She sounds great. So yeah, Alice with Kesha. Yeah, really cool. Welcome to My Nightmare 2, or Welcome to My Nightmare. Next we got Paranormal from 2017. This was a big kind of return album. This was a big deal. This featured a second disc that had some new tracks recorded by the original Alice Cooper band, which is a big deal. Got Genuine American Girl and You and All of Your Friends. Genuine American Girl was kind of like a commentary. It makes this whole album was like a commentary on kind of like how weird the world has become. And it was kind of the whole idea of like Bruce Jenner becoming Caitlyn Jenner was kind of the idea of Genuine American Girl. Like how this guy, this like Captain America Olympic superhero, is now completely identifying as a woman. Like it was insane. Also like with Donald Trump, becoming president, and just how insane and weird the world, and schizophrenic almost, that the world is becoming, where like everything all over the place. So yeah, a lot of that theme on here, but Paranormal's a great tune. Paranormic Personality is great. Fallen in Love, so good. He's been playing that live. Billy Gibbons plays guitar on that, really cool. Been having a lot of really good special guests on these albums for all throughout this period, all the way back to Hey Stoopid. Dead Flies, I dig. Fireball. The Sound of A, which was another original Alice Cooper band song, I believe for like Love It to Death era, and he just brought it back for this. Doesn't have the Alice Cooper band playing on, at least all of them. But yeah, that's a really cool tune, really dark tune, Sound of A. Alright, and then we have from 2021, Detroit Stories, another one going back to that classic Detroit sound, the what influenced Alice, what he was a pioneer on, of that Detroit early sort of heavy metal, you could call it. And this was Alice's first #1 album. He actually got a #1 album on the charts, because it's not very hard to do right now, actually, and think about it, because nobody's consuming music the same way. But really, he got a #1 record after all this time, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, this one's got some good tunes on it. Independence Dave, it's a pretty funny tune. Wonderful World. It's a really dark song. I think a lot of people, I remember like when I first saw this, when I first heard the tune and when it was first released, I saw a lot of people commenting and saying, "Oh, what is this? This isn't classic Alice Cooper." Well, you don't get it. It's a commentary on basically the people who don't get it. We are living in a dark world. It's like Devo's "It's a Wonderful World." It's a very dark song, but it's kind of disguised and people kind of misinterpret it. So brilliant, dig it. Hanging On by a Thread, Don't Give Up, which was actually originally, and this version is better, as like it's a suicide prevention song. It's trying to help people like depression and mental health, and just a great mental health anthem. But I remember when I first heard he released it as like part of the pandemic, because this album came out during the pandemic, and that was released as a single. Like as a pandemic song, it sucked. I hated Hanging On by a Thread, or Hanging by a Thread, Don't Give Up, when I first heard it. Because this is stupid. Because it wasn't going to date well if it was just a pandemic tune. But then going back to the original idea where it's just like a suicide song and just like a mental health struggle song, it's so much better that way, because, it's more inspiring. The pandemic was going to, I'm going to get political here, but it's like, it's going to come and go. We wouldn't talk about it now. It's like a distant memory. But, you know, people's mental health is always going to be a problem. So, great tune for that. So I really dig the tune now. Also does a song, I Hate You, which is the very sarcastic, funny song with the Alice Cooper Band all airing their grievances and how much they hate each other in a very sarcastic way. It's just like kind of making fun of the whole idea that bands that have, you know, been together for a long time come back together, everybody hates each other, that's why they don't tour, and making fun of that, like how much, what they hate about every single member. It's really funny. Yeah, dig it. There he is on the back. Still looking good. That's the thing, when you look like Alice Cooper, you don't have to worry about ever people going, wow, he looks bad. It's Alice Cooper. He's a horror character. He's not supposed to be good looking. And lastly, we get to 2023, the most recent record, Road. Really good album. This is just like everything about being on the road. It's just like kind of a great album for Alice to release at this point in his career, because he's still going, still a road warrior. So here he is, does this album, Road. Has a great opener, I'm Alice. Like at this point, he's just like opening every show with that song. He could just open every single concert with that song, I'm Alice, introducing himself. It's like a hello hooray. But it's actually his own song, because Hello Hooray was a cover tune. But this is like a new Hello Hooray. He could open every concert with I'm Alice, and he just command the stage. Dig it. Dead Don't Dance, cool. White Line Frankenstein does another Frankenstein song. It's all about the white lines on the road. When I first thought, was he doing a song about his 80s cocaine addiction? No, it's it's a song about the road. But I like a White Line Frankenstein. Dig that title. Big Boots is really fun. Dig that tune, really heavy. The Big Goodbye, that song is great, so good. And he closes it out with a cover of The Who, Magic Bus. And I believe, is this the first record that Nita Strauss actually plays guitar on? Yes. This is also the first record that super babe, super awesome, amazing guitar player, Nita Strauss, plays guitar on. She's been in the band for a while now. Finally got to play on this record. I don't know if she'll come back. I think she's come back with Alice. She was with Demi Lovato for a bit with this. Demi Lovato was doing the all-girl band thing. Really cool. Dig Nita Strauss. Really great guitar player. So, there you go. That's just sort of going through Alice Cooper 1991 to 2023. I'm an absolutely huge Alice Cooper fan. One of my all-time heroes. Fluffs flying around. But yeah, it was really fun to do this. I wanted to do the final chapter of Alice Cooper here on the show. Sort of closing out. He's going to put out a new album by the time this airs, I'm sure. Because the guy's not stopping. So, yeah, I'm sure a bit longer episode than you're used to here, but, you know, I've done 75 of these, you know, it's like, at this point, you know, I've done so many of these, we can afford to make them a little bit longer, I think, have more in-depth discussions here on this show. So, yeah, I'm a huge Alice Cooper fan, and if you're an Alice Cooper fan, I hope you enjoyed this. That's it for this week. Until we meet again, this is Brett Strong saying, good journey.